Okay, cool. Now we're like, oh, there goes the camera. Once again, minor delays as we get this last minute straight up. Okay. We'll get everybody in the frame here. It gives time for YouTube to populate this too. What's up, everybody? I'm Eric Thoreau.
Victor Santiago.
And this is the second episode for this season of our Inside the Nation Vidcast. Now, just if you weren't with us last week, basically Vidcast is our version of a video podcast. What we're doing is we're doing our live streams here, or once in a while, maybe if we have like a guest on, we'll do it recorded. But basically, we take the video, of course, we upload it to the Ninth Man Nation YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe. That's where we're on right now. If you're watching, subscribe to us, follow, and that bell icon to make sure you get notified, and then it'll tell you what type of notification you get. So go ahead and do that, and then we distribute the audio track of this video portion to our YouTube platform, and we distribute it out throughout the different platforms that we have. Our main platform, of course, is Spreaker. So, and with that said, and the reason why we chose Spreaker as our main hosting platform is because one of course, the cost can't beat the cost. We're being transparent. They're less expensive than, say, like SoundCloud. And then two, they offer more features. They offer monetization. And they also offer the fact that they have the capability for creators on their platform to create their own iOS mobile. So eventually you can just download our app and get the feed right then and there to our podcasts. That's coming soon. So we're in the process of designing the graphics for our own podcast app through Spreaker, and it's hosted through them. So it's like a one and all stop shop, kind of thing. But then our content is distributed through other platforms. Our podcasting platforms include Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, Acast, Auto Radio, and Castbox, just to name the stuff. We're coming soon. We're being processed by both Spotify and iHeartRadio at the present moment. And we'll, as soon as we find out from those two platforms, iHeart and Spotify, we'll let you know. But let's get on with the show. Let's review, I guess, last week. We had two games going. The first game was on a Friday. That was a stream game. Now it was the Baltimore Brigade hosting the Philadelphia Soul. So
yeah, it was a pretty good game. That's between those two franchises, and it's an all defensive game. But
that's the thing. It was defensive. It almost felt like it was a slow game, just like as if you're out there watching an NFL game. That's how slow it felt. It didn't feel like it was happening. I was like, I can't believe it. Quarterback. I said, okay, first quarter's done 7-7. I'm like, okay, second quarter's they're gonna get off their cobwebs and they're gonna, break down. But it never happened. It never happened. And I was like, is this what we're going to be expecting from, because there's only 4 teams in the league. Everything's, everybody's saying that this is the all-star league because all the best of best players in the Arena Football League are spread, upon these 4 teams. So they sort of like cancel each other out. There's no one going to be like as dominating. So like last year, it was Philadelphia Soul basically dominating the league because they have the whole core unity back from the previous year when they defeated the Arizona Rattlers in Arena Bowl on 29 in Glendale. So they kept that whole cast like they're doing this year, but they have the rest of the league that's now more unison, and Baltimore's more Brigade. They're a sophomore team, just like the Washington Valor. So they have more of a footing, and they're more stabilized now as far as for an organization to have themselves prepared. And they got a lot. People are basically calling the Tampa Bay Storm of the North, which they got a couple players from there, but they also, I think the heart of the team is with the coaching staff, and most of the coaching staff is basically from the San Jose SaberCats. I know one of the broadcasters thought they're the San Jose SaberCats of the East. Because they do have, like, Virgil Gray was a SaberCat for like 1 or 2 years. I mean, I know.
Somewhere around there.
Well, it would have been 2 years. But the 2015 season, he injured himself, so he wasn't able to participate basically in like the second third of the season, or like the first third of the season he was participating in and playing, and the second 2/3 of the season he wasn't because of his injury. But he still won the Arena Bowl. But unfortunately, we all know what happened with the SaberCats not giving their players the due diligence, and We don't. That's a sore subject for us to on what we think that the ownership of the SaberCats, the Fries brothers, need to do to give back, to their players that actually won them that trophy, and then of course Fries needs to give back the trophy itself. So I know I'm a little out of frame here. We get like there a little more, get back a little more. Sorry. So basically, going back to the Baltimore game, like I said, the league is so the talent is it's just so strong on every single team. Maybe we can expect more of a low-scoring affair this year, just at least for this year until we could, stretch out thinning out the talent across the league levels. But the Baltimore Brigade game on Friday was just such a disappointment as far as for what we're used to seeing in arena football. And if you're watching the game, unless you're there in the arena, if you're watching the game, even the good thing with Facebook Watch, and I think that's a great idea, and I hope
it is a great idea.
Yeah, I hope they continue it.
Right.
That it basically it's so slow. It's not the ideal. You get even more of a worse opinion on the Arena Football League if you already have a bad opinion on it because the way it's indoors and it's not real football. Blah blah blah. We went into that last year or last week.
Or last week. Yeah. Yeah, they did. With their 3-1 record for Baltimore, tied with Philadelphia. It looks like they're going to. It's still early. It's still early in the game.
Are you leading to say that you think Baltimore might go to the ArenaBowl this year?
If I'm I was predicted it.
Well, let's hold off to our predictions until a little later in the vidcast. Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, we can already say every team in the league, I think was it 2 years ago when they had the 8 teams in 2016 where every team was a playoff contender.
Yeah.
So what are you really truly playing for? Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Anything can happen here.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is a player member, but this is all about positioning on how you want to position because this year you get to choose whether to host the first game in the 2 playoff game matchup series or they want to host the first game of the series. It's about, I guess, momentum and all that stuff, and the way things are going, momentum could carry on to the regular season. From the regular season on to the playoffs. But yeah, back to the Baltimore-Philly game. Philadelphia lost their very first game since last year when they played Baltimore. So is it Royal Farms going to be a curse for Philadelphia soul?
I would say so.
I mean, but what's going on with Baltimore as far as for not? I mean, they're going into league and they're saying, oh, Baltimore is and the DMV is such a football crazy area.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not. But then it's to the point to where I'm hearing things like during the game last week in the side chat that was going on, nobody knows that Baltimore Brigade even exists. I'm glad that for the second week in a row that they decided to simulcast the game from Monumental Sports Feed onto NBC Sports Washington, the regional sports channel there for Washington.
Okay.
I'm glad that they finally chose to do that. That gives exposure, but the thing is, it sort of seems like they're doing it last minute kind of thing on both times. So nobody is really scheduling time to go and say, well, we're going to watch the game or whatever. But I think that the way that the Arena League needs to do for localized television, I think the home team should have their local feed broadcast only the road games.
Okay.
That way you can focus on, you can still have radio doing both road and home.
Yeah.
But as far as from a visual standpoint, having doing the road games, that way you can commit community for viewing parties.
Yeah.
And for fans to come together if they're not, doing this league pass thing.
Yeah.
They could come together and they could go to the road game thing for the league pass thing, or they could go and go to a restaurant and watch it on TV.
Okay.
And by going and watching it on TV in a public restaurant, could promote the TV to people who are in the restaurant that would go there but not go there for the game and know it exists. So that's sort of advertising.
Yeah.
And I remember when I ran the fan club for the SaberCats.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I mean, the SaberCats didn't do anything until the last couple of years of their existence. When the guy that was in charge of business affairs was sort of forced to do it.
Okay.
But then they tried to do it on their own way. And from me having experience of working in some of the restaurants and knowing how to be convenient for fans and keep it simple and as friendly and low costing for fans to come out of their way for a non-home game to come out and watch the game in the road. Okay. I knew what to do. So, but the team didn't. So, but anyways, it eventually evolved, but it was still a good thing to happen. Yeah. It was, and that's why I think with the situation with Baltimore, I think that Leonsis needs to get off their asses and start advertising the team. I mean, I remember when they announced the team, they had a bus that was wrapped in Baltimore Brigade. Is that not there anymore? Did that end as soon as basically the season started and their freshman year they stopped advertising? What's the local TV stations doing in Baltimore? A couple of their newspaper sites and the Brigade are nothing, fan. They're like hidden down there. You have to scroll all the way down, so you don't get any direct, issues with that. Yeah, yeah. And the attendance is averaging. The attendance is horrible for what's supposed to be such a football craze thing. Yeah, yeah. So if you have no marketing out there, I mean, you can't just do social media marketing. I mean, that's one thing. And then, target to the Baltimore area, Baltimore, Landover, in that general area. Yeah. It's going to be tough for you, to have that working. But yeah, I can also because people are more like because we're in competition against clone to that community out there. Yeah. About this, if a Brigade game and a Baltimore Orioles game were to be on the same day, okay? Yeah. Let's just say for the same day. Yeah. And let's say usually on Saturdays you tend to have games in the daytime for baseball. Yeah. Because it allows the fans to come out on the weekends and enjoy the nice warmer weather, during the sunlight. Yeah. The night games. And then to keep your weekends open for anything else. But let's say that if that were the case, how about maybe the Brigade? This is just an idea that I've thought, even from last couple of seasons. And I want to try to reiterate this. Maybe the Brigade should work with the Baltimore Orioles marketing department and saying that fans, if you went to the Baltimore Orioles game that day, and of course, if you don't have a ticket for the Brigade game already, but that if you show your ticket stub that you went to the game, the Orioles game, and a couple hours later make the trek to Royal Farms Arena from Camden Yards, office at Royal Farms to go to watch the Brigade play, Brigade will give you a discount. And then vice versa. Now this will probably be like either if the Brigade played an afternoon game, but most likely Arena's more nighttime games. Yeah. But maybe if it's like that, a nighttime game, then let's say the Brigade fans could go to the next day. Okay. And because usually, baseball is our 3 days of home games, or 4 days, depending on the series. Yeah. A 3-game series, and so usually Sundays are usually the 3rd game or the last game of the series. Yeah. Before a new Orioles at Camden Yards ticket booth and get a discount on Oriole tickets. So the way the interaction relationship and draws fans in. That probably would not have gone to both, but that could be. Oh, excuse me, it's shaking the table here. We'll try not to do that. Yeah. But that could be a way for the teams to come out. That could work for. Let's see here. That could work for Baltimore because you got the Orioles. That could work for the Valor because you got the Nationals. That could work for Philadelphia because you got the Phillies in the same damn complex, in the South Philly Sports Complex there. I mean, the arena and Citizens Bank Park are just kitty corner, diagonally across the parking lot there. With Albany, I'll touch base on Albany, but just as far as for Baltimore, and then I don't know, we can't really say anything yet on Washington because they have yet to have a home game, unfortunately. But let's see what happens on Friday with Washington. If it continues well like last year, and Washington led the league in attendance, even with not with Albany existing, but with Cleveland, Tampa Bay involved, and Washington being the freshman in the class. Let's see if Washington can get out and pack the Capital One Arena. Yeah. For the home game against the Albany. I mean, they'll be the first time they're seeing Albany for their very first time. Yeah. And now I want to see the Valor come back with their. I think the new quarterback Shane Austin is starting this week. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he's been. Shane's been there for.
Shane's a great quarterback. I mean, he led the Cavaliers, the Gladiators.
Gladiators.
Bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Same owner, but bad team. Gladiators, good team.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Been a 15-1 record, isn't it?
I think it was. They went as far as 17-1.
17-1, yeah.
And this was back in 2014 when they hosted the ArenaBowl and had 18,000 strong at the queue.
Yeah.
But then they got their asses handed to them by the Arizona Rattlers.
Yeah. Give credit for the Rattlers.
And they went to the very hostile. I mean, the Gladiators were basically that one game away from being the very first pro team to win a championship for the longest time for Cleveland. And Cleveland's drought. Unfortunately, the very next year it was Cavaliers, and even if Cleveland got credit for it, because it's arena football, nobody cares about that. But like I said, we need to get the seats, fit.
Football is supposed to be fun. Yeah.
Do you think? What do you at least get up above 6,000? I think the highest they've reached is little over 6,000 at one game.
6,000?
Yeah. So what can they do? Let's say like close to 10,000, because I know Royal Farms for an arena football game can hit close to around 14,000.
Oh, 14. Oh, they have 14,000 seats there.
Yeah. So what do you think they need to do to get those fans there?
What you do? Try to get. I don't know. Let's try to get discount tickets or something, and have if you had season tickets. If you're a season ticket holder, you probably get single game tickets that's cheaper.
And then give those tickets to people who are non-fans or non-season ticket holders.
You're right.
So basically, like a ticket discount offer for season ticket holders already.
You're right.
So they could,
so they don't have to pay
the fee.
They
could buy tickets for people who are not going, and then or there are people who are going. They could get them for discount or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of this. I just thought about this. I'm thinking. Okay, so the Baltimore area. Let's just continue with Baltimore, because Washington so far has been pretty decent with their fans.
Yeah.
And attendance, but Baltimore is the one that's having the issues. And I can understand them being starting with only 4 months into the season, but the fact that they've had a full off season now, they went for one full season and had an off season, coming off a playoff loss. They were 4-10 when they were in the playoffs with the Philadelphia Soul, but still they were still in the playoffs for their first year.
Yeah.
And only being in existence in 4 months prior to the season starting, unlike the Valor had a whole year.
Yeah.
And we'll get on the attention saying that maybe Valor is not a genuine expansion team. I'll get on that in a minute, but what was my point? Oh, maybe what Ted Leonsis could do is reach out to, if they're still in the area, members of the Baltimore Ravens football team.
Okay.
And give them deals to come into the game, so that way, just by each player, the coach, Harbaugh and all them, could come into the games, and then they have a heavy presence on social media by just taking a picture here and there, tagging or even checking in. That that's what a lot of people go to NFL games and NBA games. Nothing last night, but we won't get on you for last night, but because you did that, and basically, but those games are not really true games anymore. They're more status symbols. It's for people to check in on their location and say, hey, I went to this, to just give them the bragging rights that they went to a game. And that's what these games have turned out to be: NBA, NFL, MLB a little bit, NHL.
MLB, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, these big leagues are more status symbols than they are actual true fan sportsmen and all that stuff, and fans of the team. So, but basically, with the Baltimore Brigade, maybe they could team up with the Ravens, and just invite some of the local talent, to the arena. If you want to comp them tickets, or as a guest of the team, or if you want to give them an extremely special discount, that's up to you. However, you could get them in the seats. So who's the GM of the Ravens right now? Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie Newsome, yes. Yeah,
so have Ozzie Newsome come. He's a favorite. Have Ray Lewis
to get involved. There.
Have Ray Lewis get involved.
Yeah.
He's just too busy doing ballers with fucking Rock.
Yeah. Or he does ESPN.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. Does he do ESPN? I thought he does Fox.
No, he does ESPN Monday Night Football post-game show. And
he does do that. Yeah, but he's also sometimes on The Herd with Colin Collar on Fox Sports when he's on there quite a bit.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, Ray Lewis, Ozzie Newsome, you know, get Flacco out there, the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, get the head coach. Is it Jim or John? John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh.
Jim's in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and then what Washington to do? Washington Redskins. They basically have an Arena Football great as their head coach, and Jay Gruden.
Jay Gruden there. Yeah.
Well, you slipped the tongue there with saying John, Chucky.
Yeah, of course.
No, but John does have a fan. John is very appreciative. John Gruden is very appreciative. In his years when he was on this first stint with the Raiders, he would come to a lot of the SaberCat games.
Yeah.
Some of the 49ers would come to that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't advertised as coming or anything like that, so, you know, but anyways, yeah, back to Baltimore. I think that's what could happen, you know, team up with the Orioles, give Oriole fans discounted tickets if they went to the game that afternoon, and then come later that night to, you know, to the Brigade game, or if it's vice versa, where the Orioles play at night and the Brigade, you know, like, and play at the day, then having the game on Friday night be discounted ticket stubs for the Brigade game during the afternoon. So I think that's what could be done as far as we're marketing for basically all the teams on how they also want to work out, and they worry about drawing the attendance with a competing sport that's happening, and that's been more developed like that. I think if you work that partnership, I think teams can do pretty well with that. I think it could work and fans will come. It'll be slowly, but it's different. But you have to get the word out and then run advertisements at that stadium's games during the day, you know, on the Jumbotron or whatever. Or on the scoreboard flash up, you know. And I don't know if the Brigade are doing that at Camden Yards. I don't live there. I don't know. I don't watch Oriole games. I mean, I do have MLB TV Premium, so I could watch them. But I think that's what I think my thoughts on Baltimore, and to get, you know, you think that Leonsis would singularly rely on his Monumental Sports and Entertainment Network, or Monumental Sports Network, MSN. His internal thing is not the good thing to do. You have to reach out to new fans. You're expanding new, so you can't just be pushing brand new teams on that one single platform, and nobody really knows about that platform unless you live in that area, and only a certain amount of people. And that platform is more DC related, because during the timeouts, commercials are coming up, and they're promoting the Wizards this. Just because you're the same ownership, but you're doing a Baltimore thing. And I think that's what's also hurting that. It's not genuinely being a Baltimore thing. You're promoting Wizard stuff. You're promoting Mystic stuff. You're promoting Capital stuff. You're promoting all this DC stuff, this new DC gaming stuff that was aired on last game. You need to separate the two. You completely need to separate the two entities. And you need to market them the two and have content on the two. Just because it's owned by the same company, you have to keep them separate. You know, and maybe just have the players and coaching staff and the employees' paychecks come from the same place, but everything else is different.
Everything is different.
And that's how they went into the league, saying that, you know, and they said that they're going to run the teams as two separate entities with the Valor and the Brigade. But I don't see that happening, especially all the games I've watched on Monumental Sports Network. That hasn't happened. I see a lot of Valor, a lot of Washington stuff, DC stuff on Brigade games that don't involve Washington when it's a Brigade broadcast. When it's a Valor broadcast, I can understand that. But when it's a Brigade broadcast, no. Don't mention DC or Washington or any of the other sports in the area that belong. If anything, maybe reach out to the other sports and have them run their little advertisements for games and get the income that way. But otherwise, don't keep it separate. I know we have one visitor now. I didn't see who signed up or if you've even mentioned, but those are my basically 2 cents on the Brigade thing and drawing fans. You know, the people in Baltimore, get out to the games. It's fun. I mean, get the cheap tickets. I mean, right now with only the attendance being reported around the high 4,000s, there's plenty of seats to go around, and then there's plenty of good viewing angles to go around. It's like going to a concert. It's like going to a football with a concert involved with the same thing.
Exactly.
And of course, you want, and just to let you know that when your Baltimore Brigade are on defense, help them out by being Baltimore's true ninth man. Be Moore's ninth man. The brick squad. And make all that noise on defense. And then when they're on offense, be quiet. Like you're in a library.
Nobody.
So with that, I guess that's our things on Baltimore and a little review that we did on the Brigade game against the Philadelphia Soul. The final score was 31-21. Brigade winning their third game of the year. So they're basically one more game next week.
Yep.
Who do they play next week? They play
next
Washington?
Week?
They play Washington Valor, huh?
Yeah.
Because I know Albany is playing in Philadelphia next week. So yeah, and there's no more buys in the year. So this is it. This weekend was supposed to be the bye week for the entire league, but because Albany had to do it. Yeah, so Baltimore plays at Philadelphia next week. Is it at Philadelphia?
It's at this is where week 5.
No, you just go here. 2018 schedule.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's looking on the Ninth Man Nation mobile site for the schedule. But I think it is Baltimore at Philadelphia.
Okay, here we go.
May 5th. No, you want May 18th, May 19th. Baltimore at Valor.
Yeah.
Well, that's the battle of the DMV.
Yeah.
Baltimore at Washington next week. Yeah, so I did say Albany at Philly. So yeah, that makes sense. So, but I just want to make sure, was it a Baltimore home game or a Washington Valor home game?
Yeah.
And with Washington at this rate would have only played one home game already in week 2, but that got rescheduled.
Yeah.
So that's on this Friday, and they're hosting for the first time the Albany Empire.
The Albany Empire.
And now that makes a transition right there. Let's talk about this next game.
Okay.
Albany Empire playing the Valor basically as we call it a revenge game for Washington, because last week's game in Albany obviously didn't go so well.
No.
When the Empire won their very first franchise game ever against Washington. What was the final score? What was it, like 42? It was 47-23.
47-23.
47-23. Albany beat them in front of their home crowd, which is good because the home attendance for Albany did go down by around 1,000 or so.
Yeah, it's around 10,000.
No, they went down by 3,000.
Oh,
they had 10,065.
Yeah.
So I remember last week you were in a hurry to try to get that stat from the league.
From the leader, yeah. 10,000, yeah, 10,000.
10,065.
It's still good, yeah.
That's still a great showing.
Yeah. Wearing their true. You're wearing
Code
orange. Orange, yeah. They were giving away that orange T-shirt.
I want to say one thing. I'm sure a lot of people have said this already about Albany and their jerseys and their choice of colors, and then the choice of name.
Yeah.
First, colors. They look like the Spokane Shock.
It looks like the same thing, yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
There's only two differences I could sort of pick out. If you first look out the jersey pants, they have across like the mid thigh. They have this like sort of at an angle, a stripe, and it has the word Empire on it.
Yeah.
I think the Shock on the side of the pants had like this white stripe going down vertically, and then they had a bunch of like little S's on it. They had like the little lightning kind of effect on it, like what they had on their helmet. And then the second thing on their jersey is, did you get that?
No.
If we missed your comment, it's being recorded, and we'll try to respond back to it after this live chat, or if you want to repeat it. But the Spokane Shock's jerseys are basically the same as the Albany Empire, except for that on the shoulder. The Spokane Shock had a bunch of S's on it, and the Empire had like a bunch of like zigzag lines.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, and I think that's pretty much about the difference. I think maybe Spokane had true blue helmets. I was like to go with the blue of the team.
Yeah.
But the Albany Empire have black helmets, which doesn't make sense. They're in the you'd think they would have the same blue.
Yeah.
To go with the team colors.
Yeah.
But if you look, the team colors are basically the state colors, blue and orange. I guess New York Empire State is blue and orange. Now, the team nickname Empire. Of course, like I said, Albany is the state capital of New York.
Okay.
And New York is the state nickname for the state of New York is the Empire State. That's why you have the Empire State Building in New York City.
Right, that makes sense.
So,
right there.
Since New York is the Empire State and you have your arena football team Empire helmets are blue, not black.
Okay.
Well, they.
What do you think?
That's Tim Capper from Arena Fan. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim.
They look black on TV. Maybe it's just how the lighting is and all that stuff. But I know I'm probably sure they are blue. I know the graphic I was sent by the team, they are blue. But just the way they look on TV, they look a little bit black. But they're probably just a darker blue. But Tim went there in person on the very first home game.
Yeah.
He drove down from Canada and all that stuff, and spent his basically past team that was there before, the Albany Firebirds, what's his team beforehand.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe Tim, you're going to the next home game that Albany hosts there in a couple weeks. So, but with that, Albany's fans are reliving a dream. I think their dreams have come true.
Yeah, after a long absence.
Drought.
2000, I believe.
2000 was the last AFL team there, but I think 2002 was the last. Oh no, wait. 2009 was the last considered AFL sanctioned game, because AF2 was part of the AFL when AFL owned like around 51% stake in that league. And that was why it was a secondary league that could be using the same nets and trademarks and all that stuff of the AFL.
Yeah.
Because the AFL had stake in that minor league and it was considered a development league for the main AFL league.
Okay.
So, but that was the last year, and that wasn't the Firebirds. That was the Conquests.
Okay.
So, because the Firebird names went down south to the Hoosier State.
Yeah, Indiana, and they become the Indiana Firebird. And then they stop operations.
So yeah, with hopefully maybe the next home game the fans will get back up. The last home game I know there was pretty nice weather for New York.
Yep.
It was in the low to mid 70s at kickoff time, perfect for their block party. And I think they're having block parties every single home game. And they have 7 home games this year. I mean, somehow they work the schedule differently than everybody else. Like Washington and Baltimore have 6 each. Because it's 12 games, so you basically take that and you split it in a half normally, half home, half road. But with Baltimore and Philly, they did not do that half. Conquest rebranded as the Firebirds for their last season. Yeah, they did do that. Yeah.
Tim.
Tim Capper's in the know of everything. He's the statistician history. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Of course, we still have to reach out to you to get you on our show. We're working on the video technical stuff. So basically, Albany is just going to be a great add to this year. The way their fans come to the games is hopefully how when the league sort of expands next year. We're not guaranteeing anything. It was said by people who are with credible knowledge and know of the league and the business behind the league. With the supposed 4 teams.
Yeah.
I have my opinions on what cities I think are coming in. I've reached out to them and I'm working on that. Okay. Hopefully by next week I would have a hear back from the cities I think that are coming next year. Yeah, next year.
Next year? Okay.
Maybe they'll, at the ArenaBowl this year, or not necessarily, well, maybe at the ArenaBowl, whether it be before the game or halftime or something, they'll do something. Randall Bowe, the commissioner, will do some kind of announcement. It'd be cool to do it at the ArenaBowl where the majority of the fans would be at the game and do it at halftime, because that'll just, incite even more excitement into the league. I mean, they'll probably do it at maybe the award show or something like that the day before the games.
Okay.
The league awards. But anyways, Albany and what am I pointing? Albany and Washington.
Washington Valors for this Friday.
For this Friday's game.
The makeup date.
Yeah, the makeup date. Not game, but makeup date. And it's going to be on Facebook Watch. Streamed live. And there's been some questions about, being constricted to either your mobile device, whether it be a phone or your tablet or a computer watching this. But I know for a fact that it could be casted to a Google Chromecast enabled TV or a Chromecast device. But also, if you by chance have Apple TV connected to your TV, you could go to the iTunes store on the Apple TV and download the Facebook app, log into your account as you would on computer, and then you have access to the Facebook Watch and you can watch it on your regular TV, video and sound. And then, of course, the communication, the chat will come scrolling upward vertically. But I'm sure I think there's an option to where you could, I have never needed to read it to do it, but from previous Facebook Watch stuff on my TV, I know you could remove the comments. But yeah, so what are your thoughts about Albany Empire, Washington Valor? Will Washington's 9th man come out, the Valor Nation come out in force and support the team?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, they should. 2 franchises with great attendance right there. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind that Washington hasn't had a home game yet.
Yeah.
This is their first home game of the year, so.
Exactly.
I know last year, their first home game of the year, they had around close to 15,000. So, but it went down, and then it went sort of rocking around, hovering around the 10 to 11,000 mark, and 12,000 maybe a couple times for the last year.
Okay.
So, I mean, they averaged the most in the season, with a little over 11,000.
Yeah.
But I think, I think the Capital One Arena will be, at least the lower bowl will be packed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It would be great to see Jay Gruden in attendance for this game, because Jay Gruden with Orlando Predators, Albany. I can't remember if he was he. I can't remember off the top. I have to look at my stats on our website or stuff to see maybe if Tim's still watching this, that he could say in the comments that was Jay Gruden the quarterback during that Arena Bowl in '99.
Yeah,
for Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm thinking that he was.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But
I know he watched. I know he played.
Yeah, to get Jay Gruden in the house for that game against Washington Valor and the Albany Empire's first trip there to D.C.
Yeah,
that's going to be a great game. It's too bad it's only going to be streamed. I wish they could change something up and get one little contract on CBS Sports Network to do that one game.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. As far as we're glad to have both mediums to be doing it and all that stuff. And with Facebook Watch. Helps out guys like with Tim, because he's across the border in Canada. He can't get CBS Sports Network up there for his Rogers cable system.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, well, actually, he could get CBS Sports Network, I think, if he were to subscribe to like YouTube TV. I know that's zip code based, but I don't even know if YouTube TV is really up there on the internet stuff or any streaming platforms that are up there in Canada and Montreal area.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Valor, with hopefully that Shane Austin's been practicing and learning what Coquinos wants of him, learning the playbook after now that he's been there for now, as of today, 1 whole week. Okay. So maybe he has more of a vision of what's going on. Canadian provides...
Do offer
CBS Sports Network. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe Shane. I'm thinking that Shane Austin will start this week. Warren Smith needs to still refine his touch. I mean, I can still see that Warren Smith will be. I think Warren Smith has the talent to be a decent quarterback, a pretty strong quarterback in the league.
Okay.
As of right now, he still needs to refine his throwing, because there was a couple of throws that he did last week in Albany that looked like he was still in the outdoor game. I mean, he was throwing a little bit too hard. He was throwing a little bit higher up than he needed. He wasn't doing that, fine touching, especially some of those passes to the corners of the back corners of the end zones.
Yeah.
Some of them were like bulleting out.
Yeah.
And, I know Tommy Grady had 1 or 2 of those to himself, especially that one to the middle of the end zone. Thank God it wasn't, it was rebounded off there and nothing there, but it was supposed to be to Malachi Jones, and it was a little too high for him, and maybe that's because Grady's 6'7", and he needs taller receivers to match his height, so you can throw at a straight line parallel. So you're tall, I'm tall, and I could just throw right over these linemen.
Oh
But I think Grady last week's game with Grady throwing with the stats that he did, it got the rest off.
Yeah.
So I think everything is back. We're actually streaming via my iPhone right now.
Yeah.
So apparently I got a little battery notice. So we're gonna cut this off. We've been on for 40 minutes, so this is our longest vidcast. But
all right.
So with that, with the Albany game, I'm thinking that I'm gonna pick my favorites. We'll just close up with the favorites, and then we're gonna close out our picks, who we think are going to compete in the Arena Bowl. And then from those two teams in the Arena Bowl, who do we think that's going to come out on top?
Okay.
So with the Albany at Washington Valor game, I'm seeing Albany coming together as a cohesion unit. I think with the Valor, nothing against Coquinos. I haven't really had the chance to meet Coquinos in person. I know he's come to like the SaberCats game a couple times when the Voodoo came here, but I don't see Coquinos as a prolonged head coach in the Arena Football League. His history with past teams in the AFL as head coach, I just don't see him prolonging. Maybe as an assistant coach somewhere, maybe with one of the new teams that are coming in next week or next week. Maybe with them, and becoming like an offensive coordinator or something like that. He knows his football. Don't get me wrong, he knows his football, and he knows his arena football because he has a history since the days in Alabama Vipers. So with that said, I'm going to pick Albany, but that's only because Albany seems like they're more cohesive. They're more unified as a unit, both offensively and defensively. And the Washington Valor, I think, need to strengthen their offensive line to protect the quarterback, no matter if it's going to be Shane Austin or Warren Smith starting this week, but most likely it's probably going to be Shane Austin. His experience hopefully will help lead the team, but that's not going to come right off the bat. So he's not going to ignite stuff and put firecrackers under his offensive line's butt to protect him. But his the Valor's offensive line needs to protect their QB, and this is what the problem was last year too. That the offensive line wasn't there to protect, and with the Arena Football League, man, you got to be on your high horse to get that ball out of your hands and into your receiver's hands. And the fact that you, on top of that, you don't have an offensive line to give you the extra few seconds you need just to do that, it just makes it that much more difficult to get things done, to run the plays correctly, have your receivers run the proper routes, or you to deliver the ball to where they're going to be in those said routes. So with that said, with the fact that the offensive side for Valor needs a lot of improvement on the line. Defensively, I think they have some players, but for whatever reason, they're not playing up to their potential. I think they need to improve their backfield. I think their line is okay, but needs a little bit of improvement. But the weekend on the defense, I think it's the backfield, the DBs, and covering those slot receivers and all that. Even though you're expected to get burned by the offensive-driven league, it's just that I think that's where Valor needs to improve. Overall, the whole team to focus on the O-line, improve that way. And then Empire, I just think they're there. I think they're there, And, she's Colin Taylor, CT, Superman. Forget Joe, it's Superman. I had my own little saying with him back at Arena Bowl 28 here in So so basically, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go Albany. It's going to beat the Valor, and I think they're going to beat the Valor by, I want to say, at least 17 points.
I predict the Valor. Valor? No.
Well, who?
Oh no, not the Valor. Albany.
So you think the Albany Empire going to win? By how many points?
I would
roughly.
Say, roughly, it's going to be probably a close game. 10 points.
10 points. Okay, so Victor says 10 points. Albany victory by, and I'm going to say 17 points. Albany victory. Points. So Albany Empire, your Empire Nation, you're going to get your second win. So almost the way they worked out with their first two losses. They went home loss, road loss, and then they came back home. Went home win, now road win. End the cycle. Current line is Albany is favored by 6 points. Is that by your 5 dimes, or is that by Massey, or is that VSIN? I don't think VSIN's come with their lines until probably tomorrow. Thursday is when they release it. But that's usually because the game's on Saturday, so that's 2 days before game, and today is 2 days, 5 dimes.
All right.
So we'll see that. We'll see what happens, But that's our picks for that game this week. Now to just quickly before my phone runs out here, pick the two teams. Who do you have the two teams representing in the Arena Bowl?
Well, I would say Philadelphia again.
Oh, Jesus. Philadelphia again?
And Baltimore.
Oh, Philly and Baltimore.
Philly and Baltimore, yeah. I think those two are very strong right now.
So even though how strong Albany is coming out to look like, and they're getting more consistent, you think so? You think that Albany is not going to be there? You think Baltimore?
I'm thinking Baltimore. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking Baltimore right there.
Okay, so you're saying Baltimore Brigade versus Philadelphia Soul.
Yeah, I think Albany probably next year.
Oh, probably next year, even after the expansion.
Yeah, after the expansion. Yeah.
Okay, so then who wins? Who wins, Philadelphia or Baltimore in the ArenaBowl? Who's this year's ArenaBowl 31 championship on your note? This is documented right here, and we got Mr. Tim Capper to watch this. He's gonna hold you to this. Just kidding, Tim.
Yeah, I would say this would surprise you, Baltimore.
Oh,
I'm serious. Baltimore will win it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Philly just I like Philly, but they
now keep in mind it's extremely early in the season. We might come back towards the end. We're doing based off how the play has gone right now.
Okay.
For these early weeks in the season, but towards the end when we get closer to the playoff, maybe say like 3 weeks from the end, which that'll be like what, week 9. Okay. So week 9 broadcast of Inside the Nation Vidcast. We'll come back and revisit who our picks were today, then, and then say if we have any changes. Okay.
Yeah, changes.
My opinion, I'm thinking just the way things are going. I'm thinking it's going to be Albany versus. It's either going to be Philadelphia. I have Philly at Baltimore for AB31 seed. So he has the same team, but we didn't say home team or anything. We just said teams in general.
Yeah, we won't mention home.
So I think I've heard Tim say that in one of his earlier podcasts.
Yeah.
With John and Ben.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a shout out to AFL tonight. Go check them out.
Tim Capper.
You can go to ninthmannation.net, click on links, and then I have links to all the Arena fans. Podcasting hosts, I think it was like 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. You can listen to their channel there and subscribe and all that stuff. Okay. Basically, so I'm going to say Albany and Philadelphia.
Okay.
Now,
who's going to win? Who's going to win the ArenaBowl? Or is it too early to say?
Well, you already said, and it is technically too early to say because anything we could be both wrong, and Washington Valor come up out of nowhere and they improve. They do whatever transactions happen between now and then, and Shane Austin has experience leading a team to the ArenaBowl, so who knows?
Yeah, anything can happen.
This is an all-star league. Philadelphia and Albany. I'm thinking upstate New York might like me for this, and I think Tim might like me for this. So I'm going to say Albany wins the ArenaBowl.
Wow.
That would be just freaking historic for this league, to bring back such a historic city in the league and then have them to come out and just come back and play and not only get into the ArenaBowl, but to actually win it. So they end in Albany winning the ArenaBowl, and then they come back and start in Albany and win the ArenaBowl. What kind of 360 degree is that?
On their first season?
Why not? I mean, everybody, when the league started, everybody had their first season when they started with 4 teams back in '87.
Exactly.
Somebody had to win it, and it was going to be the first for somebody.
Yeah. Exactly.
ArenaBowl won, so why not Albany?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Spokane Shock. 2010, they're basically defending, they're coming into a bigger market of the league.
Yeah.
Coming from the AF2, winning the Arena Cup in 2009.
Yeah.
Then that's all shut down, and they migrate up and want to come play with the big boys.
The big guys.
And then you think, they're not going to do anything because they're the AF2 team, minor league team.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything.
Right.
But then they win it all over the historic Tampa Bay Storm in front of the Goal Line Bandits. I think the Goal Line Bandits won that game. I don't think Spokane did. I think Goal Line Bandits did.
Yeah, in front of 11,000 Spokane fans.
Yeah. So basically that's our picks for this week. We want to thank Tim Capper from Arena Fan and the podcast AFL Tonight, which will be live. Wait, today is
10:30.
10:30. He's probably got done editing the show for the night. And usually it's Wednesday nights that it goes live. It goes live on his channel on Wednesday nights.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I know what I'm going to be listening to on my drive home.
Yeah.
So basically that's it for Inside the Nation Vidcast. We want to thank Tim Capper for joining us on this live stream. And of course,
thank you, Tim. Thank you.
I want to welcome Victor. He's a new guy. He started out in 2016 with just helping me out with some, side content and photos and all that stuff to take some of the tasks off of my hands. And now he's decided to join the Vidcast and changing over, calling it Vidcast because we're also going to take the audio track and provide this on our audio channels too over our podcast. Spreaker is our main one because, like I said earlier, not only is it less expensive than SoundCloud to allow you to archive your shows, but it also monetizes your podcast. So we can get a little return on investment on that with equipment that's costly. And it also allows us to eventually create our own podcast app that will be available. I'm hopefully targeting by the playoffs this year that we will have Inside the Nation podcast app available on iOS. Okay. So that way you can download our podcast app by the end of the regular season and just go to our app and get our podcast there. Right now you can get us our vidcast on our YouTube channel. So that's youtube.com/NothManNation. Yeah. No matter what platform, what version. And of course we're available on the Apple HomePod. Just ask Siri, say, hey, play our last episode. We're available on Amazon Alexa. We're available on the Google Home Assistant. So just say, hey Google, play Inside the Nation podcast, or hey Alexa, play the Inside the Nation podcast, and get it from TuneIn Radio. So that's it. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NinthManNation. Subscribe. Once you subscribe, and that button turns from red to gray, there's a bell icon right next to it. Click on it, because the way the analytics are working now on YouTube, you basically have to click on it. An option will give you how you want your notifications sent to you via email, via push notification, or for both. Whatever you choose, that's how you'll get notified of new content coming on here, and it's also as when we go live on the channel like we are right now. So we want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week with episode 3, Los Tres, and a review of this week's Albany Empire Washington Valor game. Go watch it, Facebook Watch, on this Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.